I've been trading for 5 years and spent thousands of hours studying over 100 strategies. After 3 years of overcomplicating things, I refined my system and now trade for about 90 minutes a day using one simple, repeatable strategy. It doesn't require hours of analysis or second guessing. In this video, I'll share my exact scalping schedule and show real examples of how I use it in live markets. So what is the simple scalping strategy that actually helped me start getting payouts? Before I get into that, I want you to understand something important. I've been trading for about 5 years now, and it took a lot of trial, error, and hard work to get to the position I'm in today. None of this happened overnight. But in this video, I'm going to explain the simple scalping strategy that I personally trade. You may have heard the statistic that around 90% of traders lose money. This is something that gets talked about a lot. And when you hear that, it makes you wonder why you would even try trading in the first place, because it sounds like it's just too difficult. But here's what most people don't understand. That 90% of traders are stuck in the exact same cycle, and that cycle is the real reason why most traders fail. As a new trader, you probably saw a new strategy somewhere, maybe on YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. You tried that strategy, and at first, you may have had a couple of wins. You made a little money, and you started thinking that this was finally the strategy that was going to work for you. But then what usually happens is you take a loss. Then you take another loss. And after a few losses, you start thinking the strategy doesn't work. So you blame the strategy. Because of that, you move on to a brand new strategy. And this cycle just keeps repeating. New strategy, a few wins, some losses, blame the strategy, and then start over again. This is the cycle we need to break. And that's why in this video, I'm going to teach you one simple setup that I trade on a daily basis. Before I learned this setup, I felt completely stuck. It felt like I was constantly chasing money in trading, but I never actually won. I was in that exact same cycle for years. I kept losing as a trader until I finally found something that completely changed the way I traded. And the concept behind it was very simple. Instead of trying to learn every single strategy out there, I stopped. Because if you go on YouTube alone, there are thousands of strategies. Some traders trade multiple strategies. Some use indicators. And most indicators are lagging price action. A lot of the strategies I was learning were simply too complicated. And because of that, whenever it was time to enter or exit a trade, I was confused and overwhelmed. So I asked myself one question. What if I made my trading extremely simple, where it was always clear where to enter and where to exit, because the criteria never changed? That question led me to the exact system that I trade today. This is the system I trade in 2026, and it's the system that helps me identify simple winning trades in about 90 minutes a day, because I only trade for about 90 minutes a day. So the goal of this video is simple. I'm going to teach you one setup that does not require complicated indicators. You don't need daily bias. It's not overcomplicated. It's repeatable, mechanical, and consistent. For me, this setup shows up every single day. And because of that, I can trade it on a consistent basis. And the best part about this system is that it completely removes the guesswork from my trading, because everything is based on the same repeatable and mechanical process every single time. Even as a newer trader, this approach made it much easier for me to execute trades live without overthinking. Now I'm going to walk you through the setup I trade in 2026. And after that, I'll show you real chart examples so you can see exactly how I apply it in actual market conditions. Let's start with the first setup, which is what I call the opening range setup. All this setup focuses on is the first few minutes after the market opens. On the 1-minute chart, that simply means the first 5 candles. During these 5 candles, we're only interested in one thing: identifying the highest price and the lowest price formed during that opening window. For me, this happens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time since I trade the New York market open. But this concept isn't limited to one market. Whether you trade futures, stocks, options, or crypto, this approach works the same way. So once the market opens, we mark the high and the low created during the first 5 minutes. After that, we don't rush into a trade. What we're waiting for is a clear shift in market behavior, either above the opening range high or below the opening range low. Once that happens, it tells us which side of the market is in control. That's when we start looking for entries. Until then, we stay patient and let the market give us confirmation instead of guessing. What I mean by this is very simple. After the market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I go to the 1-minute chart and focus only on the first 5 candles. Once those 5 candles are complete, I identify the highest price and the lowest price created during that opening window. After that, I don't enter immediately. I wait to see which side of that range gets violated. When price breaks above or below that opening range and shows a clear shift in structure, that's when I start paying attention. From there, I plan my trade using whatever point of interest forms as a result of that shift. It could be any valid price level that develops after the structure changes. The key is that the market shows its direction first, and only then do I look for an entry. In this example, you can see that price delivers a bearish shift in structure. The most recent low gets taken with strong displacement, and that alone tells me something important. It tells me that price is showing intent to continue lower. Once I have that bearish structure shift, the next thing I'm looking for is a valid area to execute from. And in this case, we're given one very clearly. You can see a volume imbalance forming right after the displacement, and that becomes my point of interest. So now the trade becomes very simple. I place my entry at that volume imbalance. I protect the trade by placing my stop loss above the leg that caused the structure shift, and I set a fixed target at a 1-to-2 risk to reward. That's it. And you can see how cleanly price respects that imbalance. Price retraces into it, reacts exactly where it should, and then continues straight into the target. This is why waiting for structure first and then using a clean execution level makes trading so much easier. Let me show you one more example of how this setup works in real time. Here, the first 5 candles are already formed, so the first thing I do is mark the high and the low of that opening range. After that, I simply let price play out and observe whether it breaks above or below that range. As you can see, price initially dips below the low of the range, but there's no real displacement. It trades below the level briefly and comes right back. In situations like this, there's no trade yet. We need to see a clean push with intent, so we keep waiting. Now you can see price comes back and breaks the low again, but this time it's different. This time we get strong displacement through the low, which gives us a clear market structure shift to the downside. Once that shift happens, I'm no longer guessing. I now look for an execution level. In this case, a small order block forms within that displacement leg, and that becomes my entry point. I enter from that level, place my stop loss above the recent high, and target a simple 1-to-2 risk to reward. And you can see how cleanly price moves into the target. These are the exact types of trades I take. Simple, mechanical, and easy to execute without overthinking. All right, so that's the strategy. As you can see, there's nothing complicated about this. It's very structured, very mechanical, and easy to execute in real time. You're not guessing, you're not chasing price, and you're not forcing trades. You're simply letting the market show direction first, and then reacting to it. This is exactly how I trade, and these are the kinds of setups I look for every single day. If you stay patient and follow the process the same way every time, it becomes much easier to stay consistent. If you found value in this video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to connect with me, you can join my Discord and Telegram. All the links are in the description. And if you want to learn privately from me, you can check out the mentorship link in the description as well. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.